Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the first generation iPhone SE and see how this specific phone holds up in 2023 in the middle part of 2023. I've already done a review of this thing kind of earlier on this year, and not a crazy amount of things have changed. This thing, again, did stop at iOS 15, so we did not get iOS 16 on this thing, and iOS 17 beta just came out, so we're pretty much like in the same spot. It's really not changing too much, but we have been getting some iOS 15 updates on this phone, which is honestly pretty surprising. Now, first things first, the outside of this thing still looks fairly, similar. I mean, not much has changed with this device. We have a 4-inch IPS panel on the front, and it still looks pretty good. There's, again, not a lot to complain about here. I think Apple did a good job with its build quality, which is something that's really, really nice. But beyond that, I really don't think this is something that I'd look at and be like, oh, like this is the phone that's like still perfect or that is aged the best. I definitely do think since the removal of the home button, things have changed like crazy. So keep that in mind. But regardless, I would still say the outside of this thing, at least with the display and Touch ID and everything, still looks good for sure. You're getting a lightning port at the bottom, headphone jack, flat sides, which honestly has aged this phone much better. It definitely looks like a better looking phone because of its flat sides than if it had the curved sides like the 6S had. And on the back, flat back as well, single camera setup, and nothing protrudes out of this phone besides the buttons. Like everything is completely flat, including the camera sensor on this phone. And I definitely do think that looks really, really nice on this phone from that perspective in and of itself. So from that on the outside, definitely gets a thumbs up for me for sure. Now on top of that, I still say things like the software support on this phone is going to be the more complicated thing, because this is the reason why I would not recommend buying this phone anymore. This phone is pretty much outdated when it comes down to software, kind of, and because of that, it just makes zero sense to buy a phone like this. Like, why would you want to buy a phone like the iPhone SE when you can buy something like an iPhone 10 or iPhone 11, spend a little bit more money, but get such a better phone in pretty much every single area? So because of that, I would probably recommend for a majority of people out there to probably not buy the iPhone SE because of its software support. Now on top of that, with its internals, we're getting basically the Apple A9 chip inside with 2 GB of RAM. And because of that, that is another somewhat complicated thing. Because with the iPhone SE first generation, this is a device that, again, we're kind of stuck in this weird limbo phase where like, it's not a bad performing phone, but it's definitely not a great performing phone. And that is kind of the issue that we're in. I wouldn't really recommend buying this phone anymore because it is kind of outdated with software. The performance isn't really horrible. Like, it's actually not that bad. But again, I don't want to give the impression that this is like a very, very good performing device, when in reality, it probably isn't. And you're probably much better off getting something that is still somewhat supported with software, or that at least has some decent performance inside. So to kind of sum it up, what I'll tell you is I probably wouldn't be the first one to recommend the first generation iPhone SE anymore. You are much better off probably buying something like an iPhone SE 3 if you really want to in the used market, or buy something like an iPhone 10 or iPhone 11. Those are going to be much better phones for you than the first gen iPhone SE. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.